Hello guys, welcome to the material animation tutorial. This tutorial is about creating an animation based off a referenced object dropping. You will be referencing a video on an image plane and animating the object as well as the pivot of the object. So let's get started. Great, so we have our object here. We're going to go ahead and import our image planes. You're going to want to go to View, then Image Planes, then Import Movie if you're using a video reference. If you're using an image sequence, which is what I'll be doing, you go to Image Plane, Import Image, import the first image in the sequence. It usually has 3 zeros at the end, and then Attributes, you want to check Image Sequence. I will be importing a top reference, just an image, because I didn't record a side reference and I needed something to gauge the Z and how far back the object will move. Alright, so you're going to want to translate your image planes and scale them proportionately. You could go off the paper, but that's usually slanted because of how cameras work, so you're going to want to scale it based off the cross in the middle. Great, next, before animating, make sure to name your object, move it, the object, and the pivot to their start positions, then freeze transformations, then delete history. When that's finished, go to your animation settings and set the frame rate to 30 FPS, set the start frame to 1, set the end frame to the length of the video, and the playback speed to 30 FPS times 1. When we have that finished, we're going to add our pivot channels. Go in your channel box and select Edit, then Channel Controls. Then choose the channels Rotate, Pivot, X, Y, and Z, and Rotate, Pivot, Translate, X, Y, and Z, and move those to the keyable section on the left. We have everything prepared, finished. Go ahead and set your beginning keys. I have 2, one at the beginning and one where it starts falling. Then after that, when you're animating, make sure to rotate and translate your object to match the references in your front and side views. You're going to also want to move your pivot to origins of rotation and also places of contact where it hits the ground. Great, so let's begin animating. You have most of your frames done. You want to go to your graph editor and start changing the pivot channel tangents to auto and stepped. Stepped is good in some circumstances, auto is better in other circumstances. Most of the time I'll keep it to auto and just switch specific keyframes to stepped. Great, so when you're done with your graph editor, go into your dope sheet and lengthen and shorten your animation to your own preferences. Because I was using an image sequence and my fall was pretty quick, I didn't have that many frames between my keyframes, so I wanted to lengthen it out so that mine was able to give me just a few keyframes in between so that it looked more smooth. Alright, so now that I'm done with my dope sheet, I just wanted to show you just a quick example of what a fall speed should look like in the end. It's quick enough that it's realistic with how physics works, but not slow enough that it looks like it's floating. Great, so now I wanted to just go ahead and create a camera so I don't have to use my perspective view. If you want to do that, go ahead and go to view and then create camera from view, and then you can just move the camera to where you want it and make sure to lock channels if you don't want it to move on its own. And then you can just switch between your perspective and your camera in the panels section. Great, so I just want to leave you all with what you're going to be doing for your assignment. You're going to be making 3 material animations. The animations can be in the same or different Maya files. It doesn't really matter. And then you're going to want to combine your play blasts into one video at the end, just so it's easier for grading. Alright guys, have fun doing this project. Shouldn't take too long, and should come out looking pretty good at the end.